our Motivation Monday segment, we're talking to a former nurse turned intuitive eating and body image coach. Victoria Yates is dedicated to help women stop struggling with food and body image for good. Welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I love all the props. Before we get into all this stuff, tell us a little bit about your background, why this became your passion.
Yeah, so I, like most of the women that I work with, in middle school started to diet and started to look to food, to controlling food, to try to control and change my body. And it led to lots of calorie counting and obsessing over like eating all the right things and avoiding all the bad things. And led to me having a really horrible relationship with food, feeling guilty and so much shame around food. And it wasn't until I learned about intuitive eating that I discovered we don't have to count and track and measure every little thing that we're eating. We can just listen to our bodies. And it felt so freeing. So I made it my mission to help other women to have the same.
Well, and a lot of women have had the same issues and the same struggles. Your philosophy has to do with listening to your own cues when it comes to eating. Talk about that.
Yeah, so our body is always talking to us, as I like to say. It's telling us when we're hungry, when we're full. It's giving us everything that we need to know how to eat. And a lot of my clients have been dieting for as long as they know. And with dieting, we are not listening to our bodies. We're listening to the diet's rules of this is when you eat, this is what you don't eat, this is what you do eat. And so we lose touch with actually listening to ourselves. And so a lot of my work is helping women to get back in touch with their bodies cues, and just simply listening to themselves for hunger, fullness, satisfaction. That's all we really need.
So this leads us into these tips you're sharing with us today. First, you say, let's talk cravings. If there's a trouble food that you crave, how would you maintain control over white chocolate pretzels without totally just not having them in your house at all?
Yeah. So a lot of the advice out there on cravings is just suppress it. Just ignore it. Just find a healthier alternative. But what this actually does is it makes our cravings even stronger, makes it worse. Like imagine if I told you, don't eat these, and you're thinking that all day, you probably want them even more, right? So what we actually want to do is give ourselves permission to eat the foods that we want, and our bodies naturally crave a healthy balance. We think that if we just listen to our bodies, it's just going to be eating all the junk food all day, but it's really probably more like this, mostly healthy foods, and having some Doritos every once in a while or white chocolate covered pretzels, and it's not really a big deal.
Yeah, I can sit and have a handful of these every now and then and appreciate it, and there's the mindfulness that comes with that too. Whatever anybody's health goals are, you say it's important to stay motivated, stay consistent. What's your advice on that?
Yeah, so I think first of all, as far as goals go, I think a lot of times we have in our minds like this end goal that we're going to reach and then check the box off. And that's just not how it works with our health. We have to have something that's consistent. So we have to unprogram that there's like this end goal that we're going to reach and then be done. We have to make sure that it's going to work with our life, that we're going to actually be able to be consistent at the thing for the long haul. So that's number one. I think also something that I encourage my clients to do is instead of focusing on the scale and focusing on a weight number to get to, a lot of times that's just so triggering for people, because how often do you step on the scale and it's like a little bit over what you actually think it should be, or you're not losing weight like on the trajectory that you want it to. It gets you down. So I instead encourage my clients to focus on how they feel, how they want to feel, make that the goal that you're working towards.
And feeling good, it's important to note that consistency does not mean perfection. Being a consistently healthy eater doesn't mean you're never gonna veer off track.
Yes, we are humans. And I think a lot of times what I see is my clients come in with this mindset that in order to be consistent, I have to be perfect. But we have to actually, I encourage them to go into it anticipating the failure, anticipating that you are going to have a day where you overeat, anticipate a day where you're going to wake up and you're not going to go to the gym. And it's okay. It doesn't mean that you've fallen off the wagon. We can just get right back to it.
You couldn't live the lifestyle every day if it was about walking through perfection. You also say if a woman can heal her relationship with food and her body, she can live a free and more confident life. That's the mission overall.
Yes. So I see so many women just plagued by thinking about food and feeling so much guilt and shame around food every single day, and it keeps us living small and not feeling confident. So doing this work is going to help you to show up more confidently in the world.
Well, wonderful. For anybody interested in working with you, learning more about all of this, talk to us about the service you provide as an intuitive eating counselor and health coach.
Yeah, so I work with women one-on-one and in group settings. You can learn everything about working with me at my website, and I also offer a free 45-minute consultation.
Excellent. Well, we appreciate the advice. It's nice to get off to a good start on the first day of spring. Anybody can find you online, follow you on social media, or your Redefining Health podcast as well. We'll have all that linked to accesscarolina.com. Thank you.